Hi, my name is Mars, and you're about to hear a true story. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so I decided to make a vlog, and, yeah, puppy tragedy. No! Okay, so for anybody who owns an animal, having your first dog is definitely different. Okay, so I lock her up in my bathroom when I leave because it's all tile floor and she can run around all that area, and I leave her with a little puppy pad so she can go to the bathroom, etc. That's like instead of putting her in a cage. So everything was fine. She's getting bigger. Okay, so the other day I came home from work, and right when I came into the door, I heard her yell, like she was just like crying, but really loud. And I was like, okay, well, maybe she's just excited to see me. So I'm like, okay, usually when I get home, I do my shit and then I open up the door and then let her run crazy. But this time, as I got up the stairs, her barking was turning into like screaming, like bloody murder. And I open up the door and I find her, and she's got her little arm like hanging in the air, and she's like, oh my God, it was horrible. Like her arm was like twisted and she was hanging and like on her side, and she was crying so much that all like her little mustache was wet, and she had peed and pooped all over herself. And she was like, when a dog is like rabid that you see on TV where they're just like snarling and you just see teeth and gum, that's how she was. And her eyes were like crazy. And I just freaked out. I was like, what's wrong? Threw open the door, threw away the baby gate, which I broke, threw my purse, walked in all this shit. And I was trying to like evaluate the situation. I'm like, okay, what's going on? In my head, I just hear her crying and I'm like, oh my God, must fix this. So I tried to touch her, and then like, if you could imagine, I don't know, like a dog just when they're like, ah, or when they're like, their gums are going crazy and they're like trying to bite, and she's screaming, and I'm like, oh my God. I go, I don't know what to do. So I'm like, started shaking, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. So I see her laying on the floor, and I'm like, my brain is not like thinking or anything, and all I can think about is like, I need something sharp. And then I find like the dullest pair of scissors that I own that just so happen to be in the bathroom, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to like take the shower curtain off her, and it will not cut. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what the hell to do. She tore, I don't know, I guess because she's getting bigger and curious. Whenever I leave, I push the shower curtain in, and she's short, so the tub is like a certain length, so she can't go over it. But I guess now that she's growing so fast, I guess she like jumped up and bit the shower curtain and brought it back. And it's made out of like a certain kind of material. She made a hole in it, stuck her paw in the hole, and then couldn't get her arm loose. And she kept twisting and twisting and twisting and twisting and twisting till it was all the way up here. And she was literally hanging because she couldn't get it off. And her whole arm was swollen, and it cut into her arm. And my poor Bento, I don't even know how long she was like that for her arm to be that swollen. So I was just like freaking out. I picked her up, ripped the shower curtain off the rod, ran downstairs, put her on the counter, got a knife, and I was trying to cut it and it wouldn't cut. And I was like, oh my God, like I didn't know what to do. So then I'm trying to make sure that she doesn't jump off the counter, and I'm making sure that there isn't any like tension pulling from the shower curtain. And I find some kitchen shears and finally cut it off. And as I'm unwinding it from her arm, she's like screaming. And then I finally took it off, and she was just crying, and I freaked out, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Like, is there a pet emergency clinic? What do I do? Who do I call? Like, I don't know. So I called my neighbor who was asleep. He came over, and then I called my friend that I got the dog from, because he's like a really big dog lover and has like a bunch of dogs. So that was like my first thing, was just like, call him. And so my neighbor comes over and I'm like crying. Like I show up and like I have like mascara and eyeliner like all down my face, and I'm like literally shaking. And he like, let me see what's wrong with her. So he starts squeezing her paw, like to see if she has any feeling. And I'm sitting there and I call my friend and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Like, Bento's, something's wrong with her arm. And he's like, what's going on? Calm down. So then I tell him what's going on. He's like, hold on, we're going to call like the vet right now. So then I hang up with him, and my friend is also my boss that I got the dog from. And then, so he's like touching her and he's like, I think she's okay. I think she's okay, because he's like feeling her bones. He's like, I think she just lost circulation. So she's freaking out because her arm's asleep. So then he calls back and his wife says the same thing, that maybe it would be like if you had like a blood pressure, like if they check your blood pressure and you have it on for like 4 hours, like really, really tight. That's why she lost blood circulation, and her arm was all swollen and it was asleep, and it was just like she pulled a muscle. So, oh my God, I was so freaked out. Like, I can only imagine like a person that has a child, if something happened to that child, like kudos to parents, but this was a dog and I flipped out. So she's okay. She was limping around, but then like within no time she started wagging her tail and moving around. So that was my tragic puppy story. So she's doing fine. My neighbor got her like this really big bed and some toys and a little cape that's super cute. But yes, so that's why I haven't made any videos, because I've been nursing her back to health. But anyways, that was just like this tragic puppy story, and I wanted to vlog about it. So she's doing great now. But thanks for watching, and have a nice night. Bye-bye.